From brand-led living to long-term asset value, the next discussion looks at how these overlaps are reshaping the way projects are conceived, positioned, and delivered. Guiding this conversation is Mr. Najmul Khan, Managing Director, Middle East at Hotelivate. With over 27 years of experience spanning asset management, sales and distribution, feasibility, development, and hotel operations, Najmul has worked across 3 continents with global hospitality brands and some of the Middle East's largest developers. Joining him on stage as panelists are leaders shaping the space from multiple vantage points. Mr. Dr. Ankur Agarwal, Chairman and Founder of B&W Developments, is the strategic force behind one of the UAE's fastest growing performance-led development platforms. Mr. Govind Mundra, Head of Development for the Middle East and Africa at Wyndham Hotels and Resorts. Mr. Mundra brings deep expertise across hotel branding, franchising, and mixed-use developments. Mr. 𝐁𝐍𝐼 𝐻𝐿𝐴, Regional Vice President of Mixed-Use Development for EMEA at Marriott International. He leads the expansion of branded residences and integrated hospitality projects across the region. And finally, Mr. Mark Eckert, Global EVP of Design and Branded Residential at Ennismore, shaping some of the world's most distinctive hospitality and branded living experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly join me in welcoming them on stage, and over to you.
Well, thank you, everybody. I think we'll get right on it as we sit at the branded residences capital of the world right now. This is, I think, most anticipated session of our conference. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Ankur, Govind, 𝐁𝐍𝐼, and Mark. We'll start with you, Ankur, if you don't mind. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of data shows from Savills and Knight Frank that branded residences sell 20 to 30% faster than non-branded peers. And if tomorrow, we don't expect it, if the market cools down, for you as a developer, do you value velocity of sale for your IRR more than the price premium, or one is important than the other if in a cooling down market?
See, I'm audible, guys? I think my mic is not. Hello? Well, I can use this mic. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. This is right, actually, that branded residences is the current wave of this market. As we have seen, like many developers, including us, coming up with many branded residences, and they are choosing to opt with partners who are more trusted, more reputed, they were having more values in the market over the few decades. So people do want to partnership with those brands, and it definitely gives a value to your overall product. So when we really compare what exactly we are building and what exactly we will be getting it after the branded partnership is actually a very big difference. It's not like that we are just putting up the brand name for the name's sake. And I'm sure that most of the developers are doing it in a very proper way, where they are putting their heart, blood, and soul to get actually the feel of that brand into the product. For example, our Lamborghini residences, where we are actually putting in a lot of stuff where the brand lovers, the people who love Lamborghini, they will be feeling it like that, yes, we do want to live around that product. Because if I'm a Rolls-Royce lover, if I'm a Bentley lover, if I'm a Louis Vuitton lover, I want to live with those brands. And definitely when I'll offer you a product which is branded or non-branded, like for example, if I'll offer you a bag which is a Louis Vuitton bag, or a bag which is not a branded bag, and if I'm charging you 20% extra for Louis Vuitton bag, definitely you will be going with that bag only, even if the quality is absolutely the same. So coming back to your question, if the market does not perform well, which ideally does not seems to be the case, still there is no harm for the developer, even if they are doing a branded residences or a non-branded residences, because the price which developer is getting is like 30 to 40% in 18 months. Mostly the 30% of the real estate, the sales will come to the first year itself. And even if the market gets cooler, it will take 1 or 2 years to get it cooled down. So it is impossible to get the market crashed over like in a month or two, until and unless something happens really bad. So the cost of construction, which is the most important thing for a developer, is only the 35% to the 40% of your sales value. If it is more than 40% of your sales value, that it means there is something very seriously wrong
in your project.
In your project. So if you are collecting 30% of your sales value in the first year, and your construction cost is only 40% of your sales value, then there is no impact on the developer.
You're almost deleveraged your project then.
Exactly.
Yes,
so there is no impact on the developer's overall profitability, even if they will not be able to sell the rest of the 70% apartments. They will be able to break even. They will be able to achieve their break-even level. So it doesn't matter whether the market gets down or market is staying like that the way they are. As soon as you are delivering what you are promising of, it is a win-win situation for both the buyers and the sellers. So yes, it is a market, and we should all enjoy it.
I think this next question's for our hotelier friends. We'll start with Jaydev and go to Mark and Govind. How are global brands actually helping reduce the cost of acquisition for a customer on behalf of the developer? How do you, once you give your brand, either it's a Marriott Residences or Wyndham or SLS, is there, besides getting a price premium, are you helping the developer lower the cost of acquisition for the customer?
Yeah, so I think the way we think about it is the brands really somewhat lower the cost of acquisition. They don't eliminate it, okay? So the way we think about it, and I'm sure some of the operators think about it, is our goal is to drive awareness and drive leads to you and your sales team, or the developer sales team, right? So the approach is we have a dedicated residential infrastructure. So we've got residential marketing and sales team. I know Accor and Ennismore have the same setup. And the goal is not just approval of marketing collaterals and sales galleries and sales centers. We do all that. The way we look at it is to say, here's the developer's project, here's the developer's marketing and sales strategy. Then as Marriott, here are the million touch points we've got globally, regionally, and locally that we can layer on and drive leads to your team, right? So they could be MarriottResidences.com, they could be digital, they could be social. We do in-hotel marketing where we could market your project. And finally, we have Marriott Bonvoy, right? 275 million loyalty members, which we can slice and dice and do direct marketing, email marketing, that drives those leads to your team. Now, there's no guarantee that loyalty will convert into buying real estate, right? But these are pre-qualified, screened, high net worth, ultra high net worth folks who if they're familiar with the brand, familiar with the location, may buy real estate. And again, that on the CAC on that is zero, right? I mean, because that comes through our channels. So it's more about lead generation and lead quality versus kind of quantity.
Mark?
Yeah, like I think for us, we were noticing buyers had a lack of opportunity or choice in the market. They had their ultra luxury brands, and they were looking for something beyond that. They wanted something that matched their lifestyle. These are buyers that have phenomenal wellness routines themselves. What we were bringing, we were quite late to the game compared to other operators. In the last 3 years, we've now shifted gears and built our own infrastructure and discipline departments to this. But they were looking for that lifestyle anchor, that access to something cool that obviously Ennismore can bring, be it their membership, be it the F&B, be it that wellness component. So that's always the thing that we've played into, stayed strong, whether it's luxury and upper upscale premium. We'll talk to it a little bit more in a minute.
Have you, Ankur, experienced something similar on when you have branded residences versus I know the pace of sales is amazing for B&W for all the launches you've done. Do you get more direct bookings when you are branded with a hospitality brand or a car brand versus coming through different agents?
See, it looks like that we are getting a velocity of sales when we are getting a more branded project instead of a non-branded project. But luckily in B&W, we have the sales for both of the, in both the cases, we have the equal amount of sales.
Oh, and
Yeah, so although you can say that the non-branded projects does take 2 months to get 50 to 60% of the sales, instead branded projects takes like 30 to 45 days to achieve 50% of the sales as per the current market scenario. If your project is good, if your location is fine, if your price is perfect. So this is a standard timeline which usually takes, but it doesn't make much difference to us because we have experienced both. But now, since we have the option to have branded residences, and that too with big hotel brands like Wyndham and Taj, and many more opportunities, so definitely why we should not opt for that. And it's not just about the sales only, it's about the future of the project as well. When you will hand over the project, the customers who are buying that project will have to have that kind of facilities, that kind of comfort, that kind of luxury. If they are getting it, those facilities in a limited price range, so why we should not give that? So we are proud to have partnered with big brands, and we should keep on continuing to do that. So even if the sales get lower or higher, this is something which we should do, which we should keep on continuing doing.
thank you. Next question's for Govind. You know, there is, we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years, the sales in the luxury and premium segment for branded residences has been really strong. And now for the last 18 months, I've seen mid-scale and upscale is a segment which is catching up very rapidly. A lot of hotel companies which were not doing standalone branded residences have come to the fore. Have you seen, is the entry-level branded residence the new sweet spot for volume developers?
I think saying it entry level is wrong. I'll say that it's more accessible branded residences.
Yeah.
So we are making it accessible to a wider audience. And from that perspective, we have seen significant interest in upscale premium product. On the screen, you will be able to see Wyndham Residence, which we recently signed. So a product like that is easier to build. It's not very expensive from a developer point of view to build. It is not priced at such a point that it's not attainable. So because it is attainable with a wider audience, there is a much wider buyer base. So it can be end user, it can be a regional investor, or it can be international buyer. And what all of us as an international brand brings is our geographical presence. We have presence in 100 countries, huge loyalty program base, and we use all of that to make it easier, to make it accessible to larger. And our experience in UAE, in Saudi, in last 18 months, as you rightly said, a lot of what we are doing is in upper mid-scale to upscale range, and we are bringing a host of our brands like Vienna House Residences, Dolce Residences, Wyndham Residences in this market. And the greatest example is the hotel, which is the branded residences, which we signed with Ankur Bhai in Jeddah, which was Ramada Residence, which was actually our first entry into the standalone residences. And it's in a great location in Dubai, great connectivity, Jeddah, but not a very, very super luxury waterfront development. You wanted a solution which appealed to a wider audience, and we have seen that success in the product. We have just finished our mock-up room. You know, it's a great reviews, and people are buying that. So,
Mark, for Ennismore, are you still guys doing upper upscale and luxury?
Absolutely.
Or are you also doing mid-scale brands?
Absolutely. I think it's a 70-30. We're doing 12 launches this year, and 30% of them will be upper upscale, mid-scale range, which is fantastic. The 25 hours Louis mentioned earlier, we've taken that into residences called 25 Heimat, Mama Shelter, Business Bay, the Hyde Dubai Hills you're seeing on the screen selling at the highest price per square foot in the Dubai Hills. For all the regions we discuss, you know, bigger, wider pools of catchment for buyers, you know, that wider buyers, but also I think it's easier to sign in terms of location. When you're looking at luxury brands, we all know we're locked out of some locations. When you go to other brands, it's much easier for us to sign. So for all that, that's the why. why these brands are now becoming much more attractive for us and for developers as well to go with.
And I'll just add, again, location is key. Right now, some of the projects which we are doing is in Dubai Island, JVT, JVC, Dubai South, Marjan. So it's just not, the top A waterfront on the beach development, but a lot of master plan which is now opening up is allowing a lot of these brands. And early this week, I was in Riyadh for PIF Private Sector Forum. Again, in same is being played out in Saudi. All the big master plan has significant amount of branded residences component, and a lot of them are positioned in upper mid-scale to upscale. So it's just not a UAE trend, but I think it's a larger GCC trend.
Marriott?
Yeah, look, I think the same for us. In 2024, so I mean, of Marriott's 35 odd brands, we look at luxury and premium, which is basically 15 or 16 brands, okay? The luxury brands, we continue to see strong growth, so Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis, Edition W, JW Marriott, and other brands. Last year, we signed about 25 deals across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. 20 were luxe, and 5 were premium. I looked at the year before and the year before that, we were 60% premium, 40% luxe. So I think over a period of time, what's happening is the business, I think most brands started out in the luxury space.
Yes.
And we've looked at, we've not downscaled, but it's a different market, different segment. Yes. There is demand for a Wyndham product versus a Marriott Western product versus an Accor product, et cetera, right? I mean, there is demand. There are buyers who follow the brand. There is brand recognition. And so I think we will continue to see strong growth in luxe, but massive growth on what we call the premium brands. I say we don't do mid-scale, but you never know at Marriott.
No, I think the demand's always there.
For now,
it's the hoteliers which will slowly ease up one by one. Because if you know, the last 36 months, from a lot of hotel brands, and I'm not naming any names, from doing that, we don't do standalone branded residences, or we only do luxury, and we will only do branded residences if there is a hotel attached to it. Now we've reached where we will do branded residences in luxury, upper upscale, premium. Some hotels have come back that we'll do standalone as well for mid-scale. And it's evolved, and every hotel company you talk to 6 months, they have an evolved vision on branded residences. So I think we'll monitor that space more closely. Territorial exclusivity, and this is for our hotelier friends. In a hyper-dense market like Dubai, how do you define territory? Because when we're doing hotels, we're very clear, most of us in the room, that there is exclusivity and you can't do X, Y, Z within a 5-kilometer, 7-kilometer radius. How are you dealing with, I'm sure Marriott has a lot of launches in business pay in Dubai, in micro markets. How are you defining territorial exclusivity, and how are you helping developers that it's not cannibalizing or it doesn't get overcrowded, a single micro market?
Yeah. It's nice that we have so many owners in the room. It's like being in a negotiation at the moment. So when we look at territorials, hotel territorials and residential territorials are fundamentally different, right? The discussion is fundamentally different. Our view is that for residential deals, buyers or purchasers are buying that specific location from that developer at that price point, at that unit, with that view, and that payment plan, right? So it's a very specific real estate purchase, first. Second is the brand. And then the question is, the thought process is you're buying real estate first, then it's a brand and the services and amenities, et cetera. Therefore, instead of paying $100, I'll pay $140, right? That's the normal decision-making process. So if that's the case, then we end up in a discussion with developers looking at exclusivity. So if we were doing, let's say, a standalone Ritz-Carlton, we would give a very short term, or a term that we think would protect the developer to get to, as Ankur pointed out, that point of de-risking the project, the 60, 70% sellout, in return, and a short, a tight radius. In return, the developer would need to start sales by a certain date, get us marketing materials and initial sales and marketing plan by a certain date, start a construction by a certain date, and those milestones would be critical. We don't often provide exclusivities for standalone deals. It depends on the total size or GDV of the project, et cetera, and the brand. But when we do, that's sort of what it looks like. One other thing that I think is important when we look at negotiating a territorial, what's important to us. So if we're negotiating a territorial for a standalone deal, it does not preclude us from signing a co-located deal, right? And that's a red line deal breaker. So for example, if we're doing a St. Regis Resi standalone, we could theoretically sign a St. Regis Resort and Resi right next door. And if the developer doesn't accept that, we wouldn't do it. Fundamentally, we're a hotel company.
Would you de-stagger the time there? Would you give the developer 12 months after launch before you announce the St. Regis Resort?
We wouldn't do anything to handcuff our ability to sign a hotel, right? That's core.
Yeah.
So, but developers understand that. We've never had, we've never, and it's a different proposition. Hotels, service levels, rental programs, it's a different purchase offer as well.
So Najmul, on this, I think, looking at area of protection or territorial protection with a hotel lens won't work in residential product. In hotel, it's a operating asset and you're selling on a daily basis, and that's why an owner may have concern that, if there's a hotel next door, his business get impacted. But in real estate, it's all about sales, and I think for us, we look at the sales timeline, and for that, for a certain period of time, there will be certain amount of protection which is there. But then, as Jaydev was saying, it's a open world, and we can do product which is close to each other.
Mark, how are you guys handling?
Yeah, well, I'm not in the negotiation room. I'm design and product. But look, I will talk about the co-location or different owners next to each other. We've got an instance in Ras Al Khaimah where we're actually playing into that. Different owners, same brand, one hotel, want to be standalone branded residences, and making that product work together. How amazing that the residents will have access to the beach club on the hotel and all of the Ennismore restaurants, etc. So I think we're turning on its head as well, and in those instances, playing into that with those extended amenities.
Makes sense. Ankur, the next one's for you. This is for all the other owners and developers in the room. What are the biggest structural mistakes or launch mistakes to avoid as a developer? I'm sure you've done so many launches and you've learned over time, which are currently being made in mixed-use floor plans or branded residences. And if you could give your top 3 learnings to the people in the room, saying that, these are the top 3 things I look for as a developer, and these are the ones I'm most careful about.
Yes, there are things which you will learn every day, and nobody is perfect, and not even a single person on this earth is perfect. In my opinion, every day we are learning, and every day we used to get something new. So during all these launches, in fact, today also we have a launch of a big hotel brand. We are doing it in a very big way, and the first project of BMW in Rack Central. So what we have learned over the period of time is that the layouts of the apartments where you do too much, 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms, that will cost you a lot when you will take it to the sales actually. Although if you don't want to make your building tacky or too much complex, you need to have 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom and penthouses in your overall building. But the most sellable point is studio and 1 bed only. So what exactly happens is that whenever we launch a project, the studio and the 1 bed get sold out in a couple of minutes.
Inventory mix is very important.
Yes, yeah. And then you will have to wait for 2 bedroom and 3 bedroom, and then again you will have a cooling period, and it will go slowly. It's not in your hand, but people do want to invest in studios, especially in a zone where we are building much, like in Ras Al Khaimah, especially in Al Marjan Island and Rec Central, where there is a huge demand of room keys, not for the people who will be living there, but they will be using it as on an Airbnb model or a hotel model. There's a huge demand of studio and 1 bedroom. So we take care of not building too much 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, but although you need to make it. So this is what we have learned over the period of time. And the second thing which eventually we need to take care when we are designing a project is to do some special parking. Always we do have a mentality not to do extra basement and not to, put additional parking. Even if like if we are doing a hotel, or if you are, if you will compare it with the other branded residences, you will be needing much less hotel keys, parking for the hotel keys. But still, if we are designing it, and we have to make sure that we need to put additional 20 to 30% parking if it is feasible, so that you can use this building in either way. So even if you are using it like for a hotel for 10 or 20 years, then again, when people will be using it for themselves, you need to take care of the needs which will come after 20 years. So what is in our mind is to just focus on sales, and which is coming in, and brokers are asking us to do this thing, that thing. Okay, we can do this thing, but what will happen when people will actually be using those apartments? When that hotel brand will go out, what exactly will happen to that building? Because the life of the building is 99 years, not 20 years. And we are not sure that brand will continue with it or not. Maybe they will have some other plans. So this is something which we are learning every day, and we keep on continuing. We keep on growing, we keep on learning, and keep on improving, what we can say that.
No, that's excellent. As in, a lot of developers I know will shy away from going a basement because it adds extra time and
a lot of cost.
A lot of cost to a project.
Yes.
But just not do the bare minimum amount of parking, have extra room for future development.
So basically, we have put the master developers on a situation to do all the traffic impact study. Not the developers are not doing their own traffic impact study.
Sure.
So if we will implement those studies on our project, and not to just put too much cut with the municipality levels, you will have
slightly extra.
Slightly
future-proof your building.
Future-proof and more sustainable, because sustainability is something which is ever evolving. Every day you will have a new thing to implement. So every day we are implementing something which is future-proof. So just in home automation also, you will see a lot of technologies coming in, but we forget that when we are selecting those technologies, it will be obsolete in next 3 or 4 years. In next 3 or 4 years, we will have new technology, but we don't have access of those things. But if we will plan it in that way, at least we can get near to it. So when you will actually deliver your building, you need to understand that your building, you're selling your apartment in 2025, but delivering in 2029. So you need to focus as per the planning of 2029.
It has to be relevant at handover, not at launch.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's
Exactly.
a good way to put.
One thing to add on mistakes I think we can make is, there's this misconception that sales dropped during summer in Dubai. Last 2 years, we've seen it drop 5%.
It's a myth.
And it is a myth, exactly. So what would happen is Ramadan would come, and then every developer would rush trying to launch before summer rush. And so I think it's about, don't go to market too quickly. Get the project right, get it built, get the collateral just right. And then when you're launching a comprehensive, solid product. One case we had last year, 𝐸𝐻𝐻 and 𝐸𝐻𝐻, instead of the developer and us, we followed the buyer. We did a London bus campaign. We followed where the buyers went in summer, and then by the time they came back in September, it was a success party, not a launch party. We launched, they sold out in 2 hours or something like this. So the rules are changing, is what I'm saying. Let's not be those preconceptions of when to market and when to launch.
See, for developers, it's best to buy the plots in summer and sell the projects in winter.
𝐶𝐚𝐣𝐦𝐮, you have any messages for developers of common mistakes you see of your learnings of all the projects you've done, and you have a civil engineering background? I'm sure you can sit on both sides of the hotel background and a developer's background.
So a lot of developers we are working with are relatively new in the market, have great experience in India, but they have now moved here, or someone who have delivered a few projects, but not. So when we go in, because we come from a hospitality background, we look at how will the public areas be serviced, where service areas are there or not, and maximum discussion where we have been presented a drawing, there's no areas for even staff to sit or back of house area, and we being hotelier, we look at all of that very detailed. Luckily, almost all developers, when you go and explain why you need this additional area, because every space which we take goes down from the sellable area.
Actually, this fight will never end always.
So there's no fight. Luckily, BMW has been a great partner, and a lot of other partners where we explained it rationally. saying that this is the bare minimum you need, otherwise you will not be able to deliver the level of service or the consistency of service which you expect from a lifestyle-driven branded residences. They understand. Now, do you want a large footprint or do you want something which works? That's something which we have been able to discuss and get it. But this is something which we have seen because branded and standalone branded residences is relatively still a relatively newer product, and a lot not has been delivered. So it's a learning, but at least hoteliers who come from an operation background, we are able to see those challenges and address it.
I just want to add one more thing here. It seems that like if we are doing a hotel brand or if you are doing a non-hotel brand, you will make much profit as a developer, like if you're doing a hotel brand. But it is actually not true because, you will be losing a lot of area for the FOH. You will, like, in my opinion, like 5% of the area practically you use for the FOH. Then you will increase your construction cost. And then you will be paying the premium to the brand in addition to whatever you are putting extra in the building. So all in all, if you will increase your total cost up to the 10% of the sales value, 10 to 15%, roughly it is like that.
That's a huge number.
Yeah, so basically that is the cost which you are actually putting on your customer. So basically, it's not about the profit, it's about the customer only. You are creating an experience for the customer. So basically, this has to be seen in this way.
100%. So who is using that space and what we are designing, the product has to be designed for that.
Jaydev, any points where most of your branded residences, you come up with the same challenges with different developers and you wish that if you had a platform and give a message saying, these are the two things I wish they would do better on their side?
I think Govind touched on it. I think for the operators, there's always a tension between the developer wanting to maximize sellable versus us wanting to have enough amenities in the building, especially for the luxury brands, right? I mean, we do a lot of amenities, especially for standalone projects. And I think getting that balance right early on, very early on in the process is important.
Thank you. Ankur, this is a question I think you briefly touched on, but we want to go a little bit more into detail. B&W's done hotel branded residences and lifestyle or fashion branded or Lamborghini, as you said. Are one segment like non-hotel versus hotel, is one segment outperforming the other? Or do you have a preference over fashion versus hospitality? And if you do, why? And if you don't, why?
Actually, I'm still finding the answers of your question, honestly, because I do not find any difference between a hotel brand or a fashion brand, because from the sellability point of view and for the overall profitability point of view, it's absolutely the same for us. We do have the same kind of experience, like we did Taj in Marjan Island, and we did the Fashion TV and the Lamborghini in Al Marjan Island, practically the same location.
Yeah.
But the sellability is almost the same, the price per square feet is almost the same, but as a developer, how we think is to create a bouquet or a basket of all the brands so that we can offer a different kind of products to our customer. Because when we will have a negotiation with our customer, they might prefer a different kind of product and they might not be interested in a hotel brand, or they want to go for automotive brand. So ideally, it doesn't make much difference as a developer, but on the overall goodwill, overall creating a kind of, again, basket for the customer, it does make a lot of difference. So we do want to do...
You want to cover all market segments,
Yeah, we
basically,
want to cover all type of market segments, but as a developer, we don't find much difference in it.
Our hospitality friends are definitely something to say.
I'll just make one comment.
We want to create a competition also.
Yeah.
I'll just make one comment when we look at the sector as a whole, right? It may be a little controversial, but if you look at the sector today, it's about 80% hotel, 20% non-hotel, right? All the guys, all the brands who have the brands today in the space are already doing it, right? Four Seasons, you guys, Marriott, etc. We're all doing it. I think the non-hotel brands in general have, it's yet to be seen the proof of concept. Okay? Yes, sales have been very strong, but I think there's been a lot of noise with a lot of non-hotel brands, and my bet is 50% will crash and burn. Just in general, right? And I think the sector will move 2080 in the next 5-10 years. There's way more non-hotel brands, fashion, automotive, wellness, et cetera, office brands that are coming in right now as well. And I think that the sector mix will change to 30-70 or 40-60 with the non-hotel brands being a big portion of that. And I think it's very important that the non-hotel brands think through how they're entering the market with the right developers, right product, and most importantly, with the service platform. Because right now, they're not entering the market with the correct service platform. They're throwing their names in a building, it's a license deal, they take an upfront royalty fee, and they're gone, right? And that creates negativity for the branded resi sector, the same way it created negativity for timeshare in Europe in the 70s and 80s. So I think it's incumbent on all of us, developers, operators, to make sure that at least the market entry, sustainability of non-hotel brands are done the right way. I think it's a huge opportunity, right? It's not like they're competitive. It's a different product. I mean, we did it with Bulgari, for example, right? It's an affiliation agreement with Marriott and LVMH. We have a licensing arrangement. We roll it out in a certain way. We have the infrastructure. They have the brand. But it's a very organized, platform-based approach. And I think the non-hotel brands have a big opportunity to look at this space a little differently than they are right now.
I'd like to put, let go of my hotelier head, but as an investor. So suppose if I was in a market to buy a branded residences product which the location fits my requirement, and I have a hotel branded residences product and a non-hotel branded residences product. For me, if it is for something for me to live, I'll trust a hotel branded product, and this is me speaking, because I know that X brand stand for certain service levels. I've seen it across the world. They have track record of doing this for last 30, 40, 50 years. Whereas if it is an automotive, yes, I may love their car, but would I want to live in a building which is branded by them without knowing what service level will they deliver? So I, as an investor, if I have to buy something, my preference will be a hotel brand over a non-hotel brand. But as Ankur Bhai said, there are people who love those brands and wants to live that lifestyle. I'm sure that for them it works.
Yeah.
See, actually, people takes pride in showing off the brand. This is the kind of market it is. Like when you will have a furniture which is Fendi or a Louis Vuitton or Dolce & Gabbana, you would love to, it doesn't make much difference to you when you are using that rug or a sofa. But people takes pride in showing off that, yes, I am using a sofa which is like $100,000, So it's their pride, it's their way of living their life. And this is Dubai is all about. Mm-hmm. That this is like, the bling of Dubai, you can say that. So people takes pride in living in Lamborghini apartment, in fashion TV apartment. They have that kind of lifestyle. They don't care much about other things, because in service level, definitely when you are coming up with those big brands, they do have that kind of due diligence to maintain at least a decent level of service and the amenities. You will have to take care of that. But people take pride in, showing off to the people, to the public. So that's why it's too much, these days people are too much willing to buy those kind of products. So that's why we are seeing like, many automotive brands and the fashion brands and all these big brands are coming in.
Maybe I agree with you. What you said, I think time will tell. In Miami, there's a lot of lawsuits where buyers are getting more savvy. They're more sophisticated. When they do snagging, they're coming with snagging companies that take over their handover, right? The units. But they're suing it because they're not getting the service level that they were sold. Because, a Porsche in Miami can't deliver that. What are they doing? Bringing up the food on a steering wheel? So it's kind of that idea of I think what I'm saying is time will tell. Let's see some of these guys. There's a huge risk of their brand, the badge, being on top of this building for a long time, and now they're starting to get a little bit worried. So let's see, and some of them are on their fourth white label operator in Miami. So they've turned hands because they weren't able to deliver the level of service luxury that the hospitality groups can do, and there's a little bit of afterthought going on. But I think we've made the point on that.
Mark, thank you for that. Next question's again for you as well, and I think we're running out of time, so we'll try and quicken this. ESG and brand, and also equity attraction. So is there a green brand like Habitas commanding a higher premium than a traditional gilded luxury brand? And second is, how are institutional investors and sovereign wealth funds, and I know you guys are working with some branded residences in there, view traditional hospitality assets versus something which has, a green, not greenwashing, but it's a green brand like Habitas? Is there a difference with wealth funds and other people look at it?
Let's
One
take the wealth
versus the other?
funds. The last question first is that obviously it was a game changer in January when the law changed, and now foreign investors can buy in the kingdom. So this was a game changer. They're now seeing branded residences as high growth, resilient, strategic asset class, which is incredible. In the kingdom, we've got 10, we've got 8 in the pipeline, and 2 under operations with obviously luxury brands with Raffles, Faena, SLS, Fairmont, etc. Going back to Habitas, of course, this is what we're really excited about, I think, and obviously with the wealth funds as well, seeing now how wellness, longevity plays into what buyers are looking for. We talked about a little bit about earlier. Our Habitas, obviously, luxury for the soul. It's an amazing brand that really is more about what we're calling conscious living, giving you the opportunity to slow down. When we look at the blue zones around the world, a lot of that really is about great eating, but also exercise, but also about that connectivity. When you look at Habitas, when we go into Habitas branded living, it's really about that connection, that sort of community environment that people were looking for. Of course, giving them the opportunity for organic farms and biopools and all the things you would expect. But really that chance to build, look at it more of not just where you live, but how you live. Really programming it through the lens of this wellness longevity with all the nuances of the amazing Habitas brand. So we're looking to launch that and seeing some projects coming online through that, which of course is new, but we love a challenge.
Jaidev, is Marriott looking at any new green brands which are designed specifically for wellness, or looking at differentiating themselves from traditional luxury, which is addressing environmental concerns?
I think we try to incorporate it into
existing brands,
both on the design on the front end as well as operationally.
Govind?
For us, purely from a branded residence point of view, it's a relatively new journey for us. We obviously at a Wyndham level, we have our Wyndham Green program, which we bring into all our products, including branded residences, but as a specific for that.
Ankur, are you looking at wellness, as wellness is becoming the new frontier right now for hospitality as well?
Actually, yes. Actually, this is something on which B&W is working since 1 year now. We want to develop a concept of Vedic city. It's an old ancient Indian style of healing and wellness. We do want to create a community where you can live in a modern society, but with the heritage of 1,000-year-old traditions. Mm-hmm. This is what we want to build, where you will have those kind of therapies which we used to do, to heal people 1,000 years ago. So this is what. This is basically a concept on which B&W is working, and we are in a very advanced stage.
Doing research right now on it?
We are in a very advanced stage. We do have the concept ready, and it will be a totally new concept in the Middle East. And we have identified the land also for this. We have created the concept, and this, if this goes well, this will be an amazing thing which B&W could have produced. So this is what. It is something which is very close to my heart, and I want to do it for people and for the generation. And this is something where I can take my mother with pride and to show her that yes, I have done this thing. So this is what I want to do basically, and definitely we'll do this.
I think we are very short time to go. Very quickly, we'll start with Mark. We've seen a lot of growth over the last couple of years in UAE in the branded segment. As for Ennismore, where do you see the next 5 years? Where are your hotspots for you going forward?
I think still looking strong pipeline in Southeast Asia, Bangkok. I think over in Miami moving more down to New York. And I think Central Eastern Europe.
Jaidev?
I think we see continued growth in UAE, Saudi, Egypt. So that's our big anchor, at least in Middle East and Africa. I think in terms of new markets, we're seeing a lot of activity in Greece, Central Eastern Europe as well, and also different kinds of models. We're seeing a lot of requests for condo hotels, but we try and stay away from those. But we're doing more co-located deals now than standalone. So most of our standalones, for example, are in markets like Dubai or the UAE. So we have almost 25 or 26 residential projects in Dubai alone, of which I think 19 are standalone.
Yeah.
I think we have 3 open standalone. We're opening another 3 or 4 this year. So we continue to see a lot of growth in standalone.
Govind, where is your next 5-year
I think
bet?
what Jaidev said, particularly in GCC, UAE remains to be, and within Dubai and Ras Al Khaimah. We are also seeing significant amount of interest in Abu Dhabi now in last few months. So hopefully we have already signed something in Dubai and Ras Al Khaimah, so Abu Dhabi should be next. Earlier this week, I was in Riyadh, and again, Saudi. Every master plan community has significant amount of hotel and residential product, and it seems that there's a demand for people from all over the world to now start coming in and buying, and particularly in holy cities. Egypt again is a very, very strong market, both from leisure and resort-based kind of product, and in the Mediterranean also we see significant interest. So, and we do all 3 kinds. So we do condo. So within the hotel, we allow investor to sell certain percentage of inventory and put it back into rental pool. We have started doing standalone in UAE, and we work on co-located as well. So depending upon the size, depending upon what the client is looking at, and what kind of gearing or financial structuring he's looking at, we work on all 3 models.
I think, Ankur, everybody knows B&W in Dubai, Ras Al Khaimah, Abu Dhabi. I think, what is your hotspots? Or what's your, where would you like B&W to go in the next 5 years?
See, actually, it's very hard to anticipate where B&W will go in next 5 years. The important thing which we need to see is to complete first we have in our hand, and to see what will be happening after 3 years. This is what we want to see. So I'm not making very long-term plans. I just want to focus on the short-term goals and to short-term planning, and to more towards the execution thing. What B&W has achieved in 2 years is phenomenal, and we are very proud to announce that we have a GDV of 32 billion with the overall valuation of $2.6 billion. And from a company which eventually evolved from a brokerage house, and with that too with a very, very, very limited capital, that is an achievement for us. If this speed continues, we can take this GDV to 200 billion dirham even. We can take our brand to different parts of the world. In fact, we do have the opportunity to join hands with other developers as well in different part of the world. But this is not what I'm thinking and what I'm seeing. And I just want to be at my place where I am, from where I belong to, and from where I got all this success, to execute, to deliver in a way which I want. So this is what B&W is looking for. Definitely we'll have a lot of opportunities in future, and we can make different plans as well. But in my opinion, planning is kind of a Panchvarshiya Yojana in India. We do need to execute things first.
Well, I think we are over time. Thank you guys very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to come here. And thank you for a very interesting discussion.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to our panel for a fantastic discussion on branded residences, where hospitality meets real estate and alignment is everything.